हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
We'll wait for a few minutes.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रदीप।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु।
जी हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी। हरे कृष्ण। We'll wait for 1 minute more.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी। हरे कृष्ण। श्री चैतन्य कृपा प्रभु
Voice messaging system.
हरे कृष्ण।
845.
One minute. I am just loading the presentation, then we will begin. Okay. Okay. We'll begin our discussion now. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadagammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhubhe Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखों करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं, यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Okay, thank you all very much for joining. I'm very happy to see you all again. We are discussing Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter. Um, the acronym for this chapter is God. This is one of the most important chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Last week we discussed only the first part, G. G stands for God, personal or impersonal. We saw Arjuna ask Krishna, should I worship you in the form I am seeing now, or should I worship you as without a form? And Krishna says, well, um, um, Krishna says, those who worship me as I am in this particular form are the most perfect. And then he says, those who worship me without a form at last will also reach me at last. But the path is full of klesha and dukkha, the path of full of misery and suffering. Those who worship me um, um, without a form, um, and that was the summary of last week. Now Krishna gives us many options, and this is called progressive levels of bhakti. This section is very important. It will be a short section. We will keep our discussion from 10 to 11. We don't want to go beyond 11. Then it's easier to grasp and understand. So O for options. Now uh, I will continue reading. um, just fix your mind upon me. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna, just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt. So Krishna is asking us to do two things. One is fix your mind upon me. Another is fix your or engage your intelligence in me. So worship me with mind and intelligence. And then those who worship me with their mind and intelligence, um, they will live in me. Now, here is a further explanation of this verse. Fix your mind on me. This is called smarana atmika bhakti. Smaran means when one can fix his mind on something. Smarana atmika bhakti means devotional service where a devotee can fix his mind on Krishna. Now, Krishna is all pure. As soon as we think of Krishna, our heart becomes further purified. There is a interaction between um, um, Yudhishthir Maharaj and Narad Muni. And um, Yudhishthir Maharaj saw in the Ratsya sacrifice Shishupal, who was very envious of Krishna. He blasphemed Krishna more than 99 times. Um, Krishna Chakra was released from his hand, and Shishupal left the body. Shishupal's soul entered into Krishna. By the grace of Krishna, by the grace of Krishna, Yudhishthira Maharaj saw the soul of Shishupal entered into Krishna. Means attain liberation. So Maharaj Yudhishthira became very surprised, and Maharaj Yudhishthira asked Narad Muni, how come Shishupal was such a degraded personality? How we attain liberation? How we entered Krishna? And Yudhishthira Maharaj said that Krishna is all purifying. Anybody who thinks of Krishna will become purified. Whether he thinks of Krishna favorably or unfavorably, he will become purified. And Narad Muni gave an example. Shishupal was thinking of Krishna out of envy. Just because he was thinking of Krishna, he became purified. If Shishupal was blaspheming any other personality, he would have been further contaminated. But because he was blaspheming Krishna, it was all auspicious. Then Narad Muni, then Kamsa. Kamsa was also always thinking of Krishna out of fear, because Kamsa knew that he heard this voice from the demigods that Krishna, or the eighth son of Devaki, which was Krishna, will be the cause of his death. Now, is my sound audible?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
I have seen sometimes these days Zoom, it's breaking when I have video on. So if my sound starts to break, let me know, then I will turn off the video. Otherwise, we can continue like this. So Kamsa was always fearful of Krishna. Every single day, Kamsa was thinking, maybe Krishna will come today and kill me. Maybe he will come today. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And because he was always thinking of Krishna out of fear, Kamsa also became purified. Kamsa became pure. So that is the power of Krishna. Gopis thought of Krishna out of love. Pandavas thought of Krishna as his cousin brother. Yadus thought of Krishna out of family connection. So in whichever way, whether positively or negatively, anybody thought of Krishna, they became purified. Because Krishna is all pure. So Krishna is telling, fix your mind on me. Now, um, there are two kinds of fixing our mind on Krishna. One kind is out of practice, another kind is out of love. Just like a mother, when she has love for the child, the child is always in the mind of a mother. Um, the mother does not have to do great things to remember the child. By default, she remembers the child. That is out of love. And another is remembering Krishna out of, in a way, forcing ourselves to remember Krishna. Forcing ourselves. That's the stage we are in now. The goal is to always fix our mind on Krishna. Now, this particular option is describing out of love. This option. So, exclusively remembering Krishna always. Now, fix your intelligence on me. What does it mean when Krishna says fix your intelligence on me? For example, if I am creating a website for the temple, or I am engaging in some service where intelligence is required, all the services requires intelligence. So although we may not be directly remembering Krishna, if we are doing a Krishna conscious activity, a service which is done for the pleasure of Krishna, um, that is fixing our intelligence onto Krishna. For example, if we are cooking and we are cooking for Krishna, like in the temple, suppose the first main offering goes at 8:15. So we have to start cooking at 6:45. So we know we are cooking for 8:15 offering. While we are cooking, we may not remember Krishna in that 1.5 hours, but the general feeling is there that by 8:15 cooking needs to go into the altar. cooking needs to go. Now this is fixing our intelligence onto Krishna. So these two are the highest. Either we are rendering service to Krishna or we are directly remembering Krishna in our mind. How can we remember Krishna in our mind? Well, we can think of Krishna's name, we can think of Krishna's form, we can think of Krishna's qualities. Just like Putana came to kill Krishna, and Krishna did not see any fault in Putana, and um, Krish, all that Krishna saw is Putana came to offer me her milk, and she's like my mother. So Krishna gave her the position of a mother. So this is like thinking the quality of Krishna. One of the quality of Krishna, Krishna does not see bad in anyone. Even if our life is full of faults, Krishna ignores everything. But in 24 hours, if we are engaged 23 hours sinful activity and 1 hour in Krishna service, Krishna only sees how great this devotee is. He is engaging in my service. Krishna only sees that. Um, so that is greatness of Krishna. So when we are meditating on a quality of Krishna, or when we are meditating on any Leela of Krishna, any pastime Krishna performed, this is called directly thinking of Krishna in our mind. Okay, among the two, thinking of Krishna in our mind or worshipping Krishna with our intelligence, thinking of Krishna in our mind is higher. That is the highest, to always think of Krishna. Okay, so those who can fix their mind and intelligence throughout the day in serving Krishna, um, they always live in me. They live in me always. Live in me always means they are always connected to Krishna, because they are always thinking and engaging their intelligence in service of Krishna. Um, so this is the first option, which is be be fully Krishna conscious, 100%. Okay. Now some people may say, well, this is too high and I cannot do that. I can't do that. Then Krishna gives second option. And Krishna says, try to fix your mind on Krishna. First option, Krishna says, just fix your mind. That is possible only when we have love for Krishna. Love for Krishna. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya guna sarupam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Just like a mother has love for the child, she is always conscious of the child. Likewise, a pure devotee whose eyes are anointed with love of Krishna cannot forget Krishna even for a moment. So that is the highest stage. But we don't have that. We don't have that love. Then Krishna says, try to fix your mind on Krishna. Now, um, because we have so many attachments in this world, our mind will naturally go to all those attachments. Naturally. Um, we want to become free from our attachments, and we want to become fully Krishna conscious. That is called spiritual advancement. Um, but we can't do that because the mind always goes towards our attachment. Um, so we need we need to um, develop love for Krishna, and we need to purify our heart, because our mind is always disturbed by lust and envy and pride and ego and all these anarthas. Our mind will always go and focus on qualities emanating from these anarthas, because our heart is impure. It is these qualities that obstruct us from remembering Krishna. So we need to purify our heart. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam shriya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidya vadu jivanam ananda buddhivardhanam pratipadam purna amrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So this Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, Param Vijayate, all glorious Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, The first thing it does is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. It will purify our heart. The idea is the thought of Krishna in our mind will purify our heart. But it's a gradual process. It happens gradually. The more we can think of Krishna, the sooner the heart becomes pure. That's the point. Um, so, in a conditioned state, when a spirit soul is conditioned by so many attractions and attachments of this world, in a conditioned state, a intelligent living entity forces himself to think of Krishna. It does not come to him naturally. He has to force himself. And that's what Krishna is telling. Try to fix your mind. Try your best. Try means sadhana. Sadhana means practice. Means we have to push ourselves. Because if we are not thinking of Krishna, we are untangling ourselves in this world. Because Krishna says one cannot stop doing something even for a moment, whether mentally or verbally or physically. These are the three ways actions are produced: mental action, verbal action, physical action. So, our mind will always be engaged somewhere, but if we force it to think about Krishna, um, then we start to purify ourselves. Just like I was sharing the example, Kamsa Shishupal thought Krishna out of fear and envy, and they became purified. So when out of negative emotion thinking of Krishna can purify us, what to speak about those who are thinking of Krishna positively? Krishna says in 9th chapter, even if we are low born, Shudra, Vaishya, engage in my devotional service. Because by remembering Krishna, we'll become purified. Doesn't matter who we are today. We just have to force ourselves to remember Krishna. One example is given is of the sun. Sun. Sun purifies the stool and urine on the road um, um, without coming in contact with them. Just like if there is a stool, leave the stool for 1 hour, and by the evaporation from the heat of the sun, you will see um, after 1 hour the stool will not smell bad. Likewise, the urine, all the water will be evaporated by the power of the sun, and only earth element will go into the earth, and the not everything will become purified. So sun is a purifying agent. Sun can purify stool or urine even without coming in contact with them. Likewise, Krishna does not have to come in contact with us just by the thought of Krishna. Because Krishna is all pure, no matter how contaminated our heart is. Just the thought of Krishna, because Krishna is all pure, our heart starts to become purified. This is called sadhana bhakti. Sadhana karna. What does sadhana means? Sadhana means practice. Practice means koshish karo. Koshish karo. Matlab, we have to push ourselves more and more. We have to try our best. We have to do sadhana. Then we become purified. And the more sadhana you do, the sooner you become purified. So here Krishna is telling, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then endeavor to fix the mind on me. Abhyas yoga. Abhyas means try your best. Practice. Endeavor. Endeavor. Bhakti yoga in the beginning requires some endeavor from our side. If we think, I don't feel like chanting, so I should not chant, well, the day will never come when we feel like chanting and hearing, and bhava will come from our heart. That day will never come because the heart is filled with contaminations. There is lust, envy, ego, pride, and so many emotions in the heart. So that day will never come. In association of devotees, by the potency of the devotees, we may feel some bhava, but that's just their glory. We ourselves, now many times devotees like kirtan, but they don't like japa, and that is because in kirtan we are being touched by others' devotion, but that's not our qualification. Japa states where we actually stand. Srila Prabhupada used to say, barometer of our progress in Krishna consciousness is our japa. How much taste we have in the holy name. Now, just like the disease jaundice, I don't know if anyone in the room has contracted this disease jaundice, but I had contracted. Pelia, you become, everything becomes yellowish in color. Even your clothes will get a yellow tinge if you wear them. Um, it happens because of, okay, whatever. Jaundice, if you go to a doctor and say, I have a jaundice, doctor says you should drink sugarcane juice. Sugarcane juice. I'm sure everybody in the room likes sugarcane juice. I used to love sugarcane juice. I mean, now it's not available, so there is no option. Um, so I was very happy that okay, I had to drink sugarcane juice. That's very good. What a nice medicine. Instead of taking all those pills and injections, I have to drink sugarcane juice. Excellent. I went home. My father went to the market, bought sugarcane juice, and he gave it to me. And I started drinking sugarcane juice, and I became upset. And I'm like, this is not sugarcane juice. This is so bitter. And father said, this is sugarcane juice. This is very sweet. And he drank and he said, this is super sweet. And I said, this is bitter. And why it is bitter? Because I have jaundice. Anything sweet I taste bitter. That's the nature of jaundice. The tongue loses its flavor. You can't taste anything sweet. Everything sweet looks bitter. I really had to drink sugarcane juice like a medicine only. But after I kept drinking it morning, evening, every day, after a week or 2 week, I start liking sugarcane juice. And then you go to the doctor and you say, the sugarcane juice tastes very nice. And the doctor says, oh, really? You are cured now. You are cured. Okay. So I am told that the voice is breaking. So let me try turning off my video. Okay. Let's see if the sound helps. Um, Sugarcane juice by nature it is very sweet, very sweet. But because the living entity is deceased, um, sugarcane juice tastes bitter. But it is not bitter, it is sweet. It just tastes bitter because of the disease of the conditioned soul. Likewise, the name of Krishna is compared to sugarcane juice. Name of Krishna is very sweet, and we can experience the sweetness of Krishna's name in association of devotees who have taste for Krishna's name. So it is as sweet just like a sugarcane juice. Jaundice is compared to the impurities of a living entity, the attachments of the living entity. Um, a, a person inflicted with jaundice disease cannot taste sugarcane juice, which is the sweetest juice. A conditioned soul who has impurities in his heart, who is referred to as one in a diseased condition, he cannot taste Krishna's name, although Krishna's name is the sweetest thing. um, Madhuram Madhure Bhupi, Madhuram Bhupi Mangalam. So everything about Krishna's name is madhur, it's sweet. But because we are inflicted with jaundice like um, um, attachments, desires, and impurities in the heart, we cannot taste Krishna's names. But just like sugarcane juice is a medicine to purify the jaundice, Krishna's names is a medicine. So initially, name of Krishna should be taken as a medicine, whether we like it or whether we don't like it. And that's what Krishna is telling. That's why this kind of bhakti is called Abhyas Rupa Bhakti. Abhyas Rupa Bhakti means we have to try our best. Okay. So endeavor to fix the mind on me, Abhyasa Yoga, by following the regulated principles of Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti. Withdraw the mind repeatedly from sense object and fix it on me. This is called Abhyasa Rupa Bhakti. So we have seen in a conditioned state, when we try to fix our mind on Krishna, the mind will go to so many places where the mind is attached to. The mind will bring all the material things in front of us, and that is our disease condition. So Krishna is telling, keep trying, withdraw your mind repeatedly. Whenever and wherever the mind wanders, bring it back and focus on Krishna. And the more you focus on Krishna, you become purified. In this way, one can develop a desire to attain Krishna. So that is the second option. Again, the first option is out when we have developed love and we have become pure in our heart, we can always use our mind and intelligence in serving Krishna. That's how we can always remain Krishna conscious. Um, um, Many times devotees say that Prabhuji, once our chanting is over, we don't really know how much we are remembering Krishna after that, and that is a fact. Another option is when we don't have attachment for Krishna or love for Krishna, then we should still try to remember Krishna with our mind and intelligence. Now, 8th verse and 9th verse, the two verses we discussed, they are called performing bhakti with internal senses, because mind and intelligence are internal senses. Okay, let's go ahead. Does anyone has any question at this point of time? Is my voice audible and clear? Can someone say?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Any question? Okay. Okay, let's go ahead. Um, the intelligent and inoffensive people can perform them easily, which is bhakti with internal senses, with mind and intelligence. People who are intelligent and inoffensive, they can do that easily. Whereas while less intelligent people find them difficult. Less intelligent people, uh, they won't even want to think of Krishna knowing that Krishna is all pure. They want to avoid thinking of Krishna. So there will always be people like that, those who are less intelligent. In fact, Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yagyaya Sankirtana Praya Yajanti hi Sumedasa. Medha means intelligent. Sumedha is very intelligent. So what will be the activities of very intelligent people? Srimad Bhagavatam says Yagyaya Sankirtana Praya. They perform Sankirtan Yagya. Sankirtan, chanting of the holy names. They perform Sankirtan Yagya, Yagya Sankirtana Praya, Yajanti hi Sumedasa. Intelligent people take up the path of Sankirtan. Now, not everybody will be intelligent. We will always have less intelligent people um, they will find it very difficult to think of Krishna. As the mind is fickle like the wind, one may not be able to restrain it. For them to sit down and think of Krishna is too difficult because their mind is too wild. It it runs like too fast based on karma. So when the mind is like that, too fickle, one will not be able to restrain them. For them, it will be like holding a mountain. To hold Krishna in our mind, it will be like holding a mountain. They just can't do that. For those who cannot even gradually fix the mind by practice, Krishna suggests the following option. In other words, there are two kind of bhakti: bhakti with internal senses, bhakti with external senses. Bhakti with internal senses is higher than bhakti with external senses. But bhakti should be performed with both. But those who cannot perform bhakti with internal senses, which is mind and intelligence, for them Krishna says, well, there is verse number 10 for you, and that is work for Krishna. If you cannot practice sadhana bhakti, sadhana means push yourself to remember Krishna. Endeavor, practice remember Krishna, even though you may not want to. But if you cannot perform that sadhana bhakti, then just try to perform your activities for my pleasure. Mat karma paramo bhava. Paramo bhava is for the highest cause. Parama bhava, with devotion. Mat karma. You perform your work with devotion for the highest cause, for pleasure of Krishna. Though your mind is not on me, then you will also attain perfection. So this is the third step. Okay, let's read the paragraph. Working for Krishna includes offering charity, to build Krishna's temples or publish books. By doing some work even without remembering Krishna, one can still attain perfection. Voluntary work done for satisfaction of Krishna's spiritual activity. For example, somebody comes to the temple, it happens all the times. I need some service. Can I volunteer? Cutting vegetables, cleaning, washing pots. There are so many different kinds of services um, a living entity can perform in the temple. So when they are performing those activities, they may not be thinking of Krishna. Probably they are not thinking of Krishna. But because they are working for the pleasure of Krishna, they will become qualified to eventually start sadhana bhakti, which is trying to fix their mind on Krishna. I know one devotee, he used to go to Detroit temple to wash pots. This is in 1985. He kept going there for 25 years. Once a week he will go and he will wash pots. People will ask him, Prabhu, there are Bhakti Vriksha, Bhagavad Gita study, why don't you come? I am not so interested. Prabhu, why don't you chant? No, I don't like to chant. Prabhu, why don't you do this? No, I am not interested. So he would just go and wash pots. That's it. He would attend Kirtan once in a while on some occasions, Janmashtami and some other festivals, or sometime when he feels like. That's about it. After 25 years, he developed some attraction to chant and to hear. And in 2013, he became very sincere devotee. But it took him 25 years to work for Krishna to come to the stage of sadhana bhakti. And then when you begin sadhana bhakti, see, that's why sadhana bhakti is according to numbers. Okay, 2 round, 4 round, 6 round, 8 round. Why? Because we don't have taste in Krishna, because we are conditioned, we are diseased, we have this fever of jaundice, of material attachments. Given a choice, the mind wants to go to sense enjoyment. Given a choice, but we restrain ourselves. But there is attachment towards those things, there is no attachment towards Krishna. That's our disease condition. We are materially absorbed. It's much easier to absorb in sense gratification, like For a person to watch a movie for 3 hours with violence and sex life, he finds no difficulty. But for a person to sit down for 10 minutes to chant, he found it like holding a mountain. So that much conditioned and diseased we are, that it's so difficult to think of Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the cause of all causes, who is the sweetest. We have so much difficulty to think of Krishna. But it is so easy to watch a movie 3 hours, to go to a beach, to go for driving, to do any kind of other activity. We have no problem. So, because we are so much diseased and conditioned, there is a regulation. Okay, chant 2 rounds. So, at least, even if we are so conditioned in material life, at least 15 minutes we are thinking of Krishna by force, and that will purify us. And then slowly increase your time, which by which you can hold Krishna in your mind. Increase your time so we can hold Krishna more in our mind. The idea is, if you just say Krishna, if you think of Krishna, you took one step towards purification. That's why sadhana bhakti is according to numbers, is according to goals. Okay, I will do this much. Now I will do this much. So what we are doing is we are trying to gradually increase the time our mind can tolerate thinking of Krishna. We are gradually trying to increase. And the more we are thinking of Krishna, the sooner we become purified. So those who cannot practice sadhana bhakti because of whatever karma they have, um, 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 at least we can work for Krishna, and by working for Krishna, we will attain that stage. Now, some people find it very easy to think of Krishna. Some people find japa day one very attractive. When they start chanting, they can chant 16 rounds, 32 rounds, and it's very easy for them, and they just take it up. Other people, even after 5 years, they find it difficult to chant 1 round. Why? Based on your past. Um, for example, if after practicing Krishna consciousness in this life, if we somehow could not become pure, then we come back again in the next birth. And in the next birth, we will begin our Krishna consciousness from where we left off in this life. What does it mean that beginning our Krishna consciousness from where we left off? It means two things. First thing, to the extent we are purified, we start from that much level of purity. Second thing, the taste we have developed in Krishna, we start with that much amount of attraction. So some people find it completely boring to hear about Bhagavad Gita and to chant Krishna's name. They try to avoid. And some people, they are so eager um, to chant and hear, that they want to engage in chanting and hearing more and more. What is the difference between these two people? They have different level of attraction for Krishna, different level of attraction for Krishna. That is based on their bhakti in previous lives. Everybody in the room, we may be hearing the same discussion on 12th chapter, but we all have different level of attraction towards it. And that is based on how much devotion we have so far, accumulative devotion from previous life. But doesn't matter. Krishna says, whether we are born Shudra, Vaishya, or anybody, any low birth means no attraction for Krishna. Low birth means lot of attraction for material world. That's a low birth. Doesn't matter if we have low birth, if you engage in my service, you will become high birth. So doesn't matter what is our past. If you push yourself, endeavor, try, abhyas rupena bhakti, hearing, chanting and serving, you very quickly become purified as well. as well. We all have to go through this phase. If not this life, some other life. But eventually, it will never happen that suddenly I close my eyes and I open my eyes and I have love for Krishna. No, it has to be practiced. Purification will not come just by repenting that I am so impure. That's not how we become pure. By bringing Krishna in our life, we become pure. By thinking of Krishna, we become pure. Okay, so those who can do bhakti by both internal and external senses are most outstanding. Very good example we were discussing last week is Maharaj Ambarish. Maharaj Ambarish was a king of the planet Earth. Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayu. His mind was always engaged in thinking of Krishna. His hands were engaged in cleaning the temple of Krishna. His legs were engaged in walking to holy places. His body was engaged in embracing devotees of Krishna. His eyes were engaged in seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. His ears were engaged in Sat Kathodaye, hearing about the glorious topics related to Krishna. His tongue was engaged in glorifying Krishna and eating Krishna prasada. So his example comes in Srimad Bhagavatam how Maharaj Ambarish performed devotional service with internal and external senses. With mind and intelligence, Savai Mana Pada Krishna Padaravindayo. Manaha, mind, engaged in Krishna Padaravindayo. Pad, meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna. And how externally hands, legs. If you do both, that's outstanding. Among them, the best is Mana, thinking of Krishna. That's the best. Second best is engaging our intelligence in service of Krishna. Third best is um, um, using only external senses, like only pot washing and those kind of things in service of Krishna. Okay, some people may say, well, I have nothing to do with Krishna, I have nothing to do with temple, I hate Krishna, I hate temples, I hate spiritual life, just get out, get lost from my life and don't disturb me. All right, all right. Krishna says, you can also do something. And Krishna says, giving up results of work. This is the 11th verse. If you cannot offer your actions to me, then try to act giving up the results of your work. Sarva karma phala tyaga, and try to be self-situated. So if you cannot offer your actions to me, basically offer your actions to me is mat karma parama bhava, doing all your actions for me. If you cannot do that, then try to act giving up all results of your work. Then try not to be attached to the result of your work. Try to perform your duty in a mood of detachment. Sarva karma phala tyagam. Tyag is to renounce, phala is result. Phala tyaga. Try to not be attached and be renounced from the result of your work. Just do your work as a matter of duty. Doesn't matter what good, what bad happens from that. And try to be self-situated. Try that. So this is the fourth option. Better than this is working for Krishna, pot washing, cleaning temple hall, directly engaging physical senses in serving Krishna. And fourth option is again working with physical senses, but not being attached to the results. This fourth option. There are so many people, they say, I want to clean the stadiums, I want to help um, COVID patients without any income. Like there is this example of Nightingale one famous lady, one nation was inflicted by a contagious disease, and she volunteered to engage in helping those people, and she died because it was a contagious disease, but she was glorified. So this is like working without attachment. Okay, for the sake of good cause, for a good cause. um, Hospitals, giving education to the needy people. So these all come in this direction where you are doing selflessly just for the benefit of others, for no benefit to yourself. That will, if you do that, then slowly you will also start coming to temple and doing some selfless service in the temple. Although one may not realize, but one who is selflessly working outside in the society eventually will be attracted to serving Krishna through physical senses without any attachments. One who does that eventually will develop some attraction to hear and chant. One who does that will start gradually becoming purified because now Krishna has entered our mind, and then we start becoming purified, and eventually they develop love for Krishna, and they can uh, always think of Krishna and then go back to Godhead. So that's the fourth level. Some people will say, no, I'm too attached to work I do. I want to work only for myself. I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, I am everything. Why should I work for nothing, for outside people? Then Krishna says, all right, there is something else. And Krishna says here, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasach. Abhyas, Shreyo. Shreyo is Shrishta, coming from Shre. Shre means Shrishta. Shrishta means better. Better than Abhyas is Gyan. Better than Abhyas is Gyan. Then Jnana Dhyanam Vashishyate. Vashishyate is again better. Better than Gyan is Dhyan. Dhyanat Karma Falatyagas. Better than Dhyan is Karma Falatyagat. Uh, Tyagat Shantir Anantaram. Shanti. Shanti means peace. If you do perform karma falatyagat, or renounce the, not be attached to the result of your duty, then you will attain peace. Result of renunciation is one can attain peace of mind. Anantaram, within you, internally. Antaram. So um, we discussed about tyaga in the previous verse. Karma phala tyaga. Well, Krishna says, those who cannot do that, do some dhyan. This dhyan is not thinking of Krishna. This dhyan is thinking of Brahman or something else. Do some other kind of dhyan. Or some people say, well, just try to not think of anything in the mind, try to make the mind empty. This is all not so great, but okay, do that at least, because you cannot do anything else. Those who cannot do that, read some spiritual books, try to understand. I don't die when the body dies, I continue to exist. um, Try to read books on reincarnation and some scientific books on out of body experience and come to the understanding, well, I am spirit soul. And try to read books and gradually gain some knowledge. And um, um, it is better than working for the material world and only working for the results. So try these things. So Krishna, now here we come to the end of today's discussion. I think this is all we want to cover. So highest is fix your mind and intelligence always in Krishna out of love. Can't do that, try to by force bring Krishna in your mind, because that will purify you somehow or other. Bring Krishna in your mind. um, I can't do that, I can't just sit and chant and think of Krishna, impossible, sorry, thank you very much. Okay, try to serve Krishna with your physical senses. I can't do that, okay. Try to work, but don't be attached to results. Try to work for a social cause. without any kind of attachment. No, I am too attached. Okay, try to meditate on some other spiritual things, read some spiritual books, and practice in that way. Make some endeavor, do some abhyas in that direction, and that's how you can progress. So this shows mercy of Krishna. Mercy of Krishna is, Krishna knows, Krishna is mentioning different people are in different stages. They will be attracted to different options, but Krishna is not finding fault in any option. Rather, at every step, Krishna is extending his hand to us, and Krishna is telling us, please come close to me. In whichever way you can, somehow or other, please come close to me. And that is mercy of Krishna. Um, okay, so this is what we discussed. Krishna offers options. Fix your mind on me. If you can't do that, practice out of regulations with the numbers, number of rounds and those kind of things. Just practice abhyas rupena bhakti. If you can't do that, mat karma paramo bhava. Do work in my service. Surrender your work onto me. If you can't do that, okay, give it a good cause, some social service. Don't give your work to me. Don't be attached either, but just do it for something not for your gratification, just for a general good cause. If you can't do that, look at other things. Do some dhyana, some meditation, some ashtanga, do some jnana yoga, and read some books, and try to become self-realized in that way. Okay, um, that's all we have for today. Unless anyone has any um, question, it's 11 o'clock also.
Prabhuji, I have a
Yes, Mataji.
question, like a general question. Uh, how can we explain someone like everything is not to be followed, not to be imitated, but something should be just followed? I think in the third chapter, Prabhupada also, like Krishna also spoke about something like that. So suppose we are speaking to a non-devotee, or maybe we can say devotee also. So like some people, they just try to imitate some, like some, you can say someone like some great spirit guru or some
Yeah,
great spiritual master.
yeah,
Like they believe in imitating, but rather than following.
yeah.
So
So
like,
imitation is not good,
yes,
है
Prabhuji,
ना?
like we cannot imitate everything. Um, so it's like, as we can take the example of Ras Leela of the Lord. So that
Yes.
cannot, like that should not be imitated. So how can we make like them understand about the importance of imitation, like not imitating and following rather than following?
Mm. Um, well, imitation will not purify us, and imitation is artificial. Um, um, for example, let's talk about a particular spiritual master. Um, um, some people sing in a particular way. Then a disciple imitating may try to sing in a way to copy their spiritual master. Now, that's not going to purify us. Um, so we have to make people understand that what it means to follow, what it means to imitate, and then make them understand how imitation is not going to help us become Krishna conscious. Rather, the reason we want to imitate is because internally we feel that I am also a great soul just like the person I am trying to imitate. So just the false ego becomes amplified by imitation, and we have to make them understand what's the principle behind it. Following means the way they live their life, how they attain this stage of pure devotion, we should try to live our life accordingly, with that level of sincerity, so we can also become Krishna conscious. Some people, as you give an example of, they try to imitate Krishna's Ras Leela. Srila Prabhupada said, well, if you want to imitate, then first imitate Krishna showing universal form. First show universal form, and then lift the mountain Govardhan. And if you can do those two things, then you can perform Ras Leela also. So don't just try to imitate something that you like, and if you're not qualified to do that. If you want to do it fully. So Prabhupada, I mean, he didn't say to lift Govardhan to show universal form, because we cannot do that. He's a Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can do anything. But the idea is, imitation is not possible. So just try to follow footsteps of great souls and try to purify them yourself. Is it all right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes, Tushar Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in verse number 5, it is said that we have to fix your mind and intelligence on Krishna. And in verse number 12, we are saying that the renunciation of results of your work is the highest compared to dhyana and jnana. So,
Yes.
does these two things contradicting each other?
No, Prabhu. Dhyan in the verse number 12 is not dhyan on Krishna. It is, there is another dhyan yoga, which is Ashtanga yoga, which we covered in the 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita. So the verse number 8 and 9 is Bhakti yoga. So Bhakti yoga, if you cannot do, try to practice Bhakti yoga. If you cannot practice Bhakti yoga, then go to Dhyan yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Gyan yoga, Karma yoga. Try other processes. Does it help?
Yes, bro, clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one doubt, Prabhuji.
Okay.
So, I want to know more about this, Prabhuji, like in the chanting, the offense, Prabhuji, to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name, Prabhuji. But can you elaborate more, Prabhuji? Because we do ask people to chant, right, Prabhuji? Even like I got recently one person asked Prabhuji. So I'm like, he knows 10 offenses and he's like, Arey, I'm so, offensive. So if I'm chanting and you're instructing, I don't have taste, but like still, is it like, I'm making an offense, Prabhuji?
Yeah. So we should request everyone to chant. That is not an offense. But when we tell somebody who does not have faith the glories of chanting, like one name of Krishna can give us liberation, um, other things. Krishna's name is not different from Krishna. When we tell people who does not have faith and experience about the glories of Krishna's name, then they will have a negative feeling in their mind about this is exaggeration. They will feel like that. Then they will commit an offense to the holy name. And because we were the instrument to make them commit an offense to the holy name, we also go through difficult time in our own chanting.
Yes.
But only glories. We can tell everyone chanting will make you pure, chanting will take you back to Godhead. But we don't tell what is the power of chanting. We don't say that till they are sufficiently advanced. Does it help? Govind Seva Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. And one more, Prabhuji. So is it like necessary to chant on beats? Because like I remember not initially everybody chants on like Tulsi Mala. They chant on beats, but that's not Tulsi beats.
Yes.
And one person asked me, Prabhuji, like, why do I can chant on count? I can just count on fingers. Like, does it
Yeah,
really to chant
we
on
should
beats?
chant on beats, because when we are counting on fingers and otherwise, we don't really know how much we are chanting. And there is a good possibility we may do little bit. But the idea is we have to increase the duration of the time in which the mind stays with Krishna. Because what will purify us is how long Krishna stays with the mind. That's a purifying factor. Um, um, the longer, the sooner we become purified. So initially, chanting is done as a matter of goal. It's called abhyasa rupena bhakti. We are trying our best. Eventually, once we have developed attraction, then um, um, then we cannot forget Krishna because we have developed love and attraction for him. If we are chanting on fingers, it's okay to begin with one round, but as we want to grow our sadhana, it won't be sustainable. So
Yeah,
best
one
is right from the beginning. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Professor, but the other person is claiming, maybe he is doing couple wrong, but he said like I can still sometimes, not all the time, like if he doesn't have beats, so whenever he gets time, he chants on this counter or anything. So he claims like he can keep a count. Does it like? Then I was like,
If
importance of
you,
beats,
I mean,
Professor.
if he's a devotee, you can say when Srila Prabhupada would ask devotees to take vote during initiation, devotees will say, I will chant minimum 16 rounds on beats every day. Prabhupada emphasized on using the word on beats. Many times devotees do extra rounds, they can do even without beats, although preferable is with beats. But 16 rounds we tell our spiritual master we chant on beats. Tulsi has that potency. As we become advanced, we can chant on Tulsi. Tulsi helps to focus the mind more, and that that mudra and the vibration of Tulsi helps us to concentrate more. Is it all right?
Yes, thank you, Professor.
Okay, so we will end here. Thank you very much. My obeisances to all of you. Vancha kalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.